Let it be known that on day 26 of its release, the Super Mario Bros. Movie has crossed the 1 billion box office threshold on Sunday, April 30th. Let's talk about this amazing ride. Renegade Online. Well, folks, welcome back. Another great day here at Valiant Renegade. It's good to see everybody out there once again. And if you are like one of the many folks watching this video not yet subscribed to this channel, please take a moment, hit that little red subscribe button and turn it to gray. Hit that notification bell, hit that like button, share this sucker out on the social medias, and of course, please do leave a comment before you head out the door today. Super Mario Bros. Has crossed $1 billion globally, following an incredible 26-day run to this point. And it still has a lot of leg left to it, as it's going to be in theaters still for at least another month, if not perhaps two, especially considering how successful it's being. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. From Deadline magazine and Nancy Tartaglione, she knew coming into this weekend, as did many of us, that this would be the one. This would be the weekend that this movie crossed the $1 billion box office threshold. More specifically, that breakdown comes in when the juggernaut sailed past 900 million worldwide earlier this week, and through Friday was at 970 million. Of that, 483 million at that point was from the international box office, and 487 million from the domestic. This weekend notably included openings in major markets like Korea and Japan. Through Friday, the Korean gross was 1.65 million in second place. In Japan, the play was strong. Now, at the point that I'm recording this on Sunday morning, we do not have specific figures yet for those two countries, and they did seem to open a little bit softer than I might have anticipated. But that being said, I expect good, solid, long-term, legged-out runs in both of those countries. But as I mentioned in one of my earliest videos on Mario, one of the things that concerned me was that given a 3-week delay to when those two major markets would open as compared to the rest of the globe, that could actually potentially depress some turnout because, of course, piracy and whatnot is still a factor out there, and there's probably a great many people in those countries that found their way to getting the movie online somewhere from some nefarious site. But regardless, that movie is still going to do very, very well in those markets and only add more to the international tally. And when it comes to legs, this movie has certainly got them. After a 2-day Wednesday and Thursday opening of 60 million, followed by the remainder of the 5-day opening, the first Friday through Sunday, which included another 146 million, this movie is about to go over $500 million in the US and Canada alone just in the next few days. That means that only 26 days into the run, the legs for this film are already at a 3.35 when compared to its first opening weekend, Friday through Sunday. That does not include, of course, the Wednesday and Thursday that had opened before. And given that it's already at a 3.35 set of legs, and considering this is only day 26, and considering it just set a 4th consecutive weekend record for an animated feature, with this weekend's domestic box hauling in about $40 million. Last weekend's box office, the third, hauled in $60 million, and the weekend before that, $90 million. The weekend-over-weekend drops for this film are incredible, usually coming in around 35% or so, which is astonishing when you consider a lot of other major blockbuster films that could only dream of having holds from weekend to weekend like this. It's not summertime. There's no big holidays yet. School is still in session for the most part in this country. And of course, we'd be remiss not to compare this to something that we have been comparing it to in videos and on the Sunday live shows right here on Valiant Renegade, 6 p.m. Eastern Sundays, as a matter of fact. Hope to see y'all there today. But Top Gun Maverick and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, look at the comparative chart here. Look at the runs. They are almost right on top of one another. Now, Top Gun Maverick always had a very enviable, smooth curve. That means lots of business during the week, on weekdays, as well as the weekends. Now, of course, that movie was out during the summer months, which afforded more people opportunities to go during the weekdays. Super Mario Brothers, you can see those sharp spikes upward as we get to the weekends. Those Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays really hit it home. But look at where we are at this point. You can see how close these films are right here after 26 days, with Top Gun Maverick at about $480 million and Super Mario Brothers movie at $490 million. So now let's shake things up a bit. In addition to Top Gun Maverick, I've brought in Minions: The Rise of Gru, also from Universal Pictures and Illumination Studios last summer in 2022, along with Frozen 2, which is currently the record holder for largest global box office for an animated picture, stands currently at just shy of $1.5 billion. And of course, this chart only represents the domestic runs of these given films, but I point to Super Mario Brothers once again tracking very well right alongside Top Gun Maverick. And look at Frozen 2, the yellow line, the green line, Minions: Rise of Gru. Both of those pictures were incredibly successful in the theaters, and I just can't point out enough how much bigger Mario is even than those two. Because again, on day 26, the Super Mario Brothers movie stands at $490 million. And on day 26, Frozen 2 stood at $370, and Minions: Rise of Gru at $304. Yeah, this thing is a blowout. And even though Super Mario Brothers might not quite make it to the mark globally that Frozen 2 did back in 2019, and of course there are things to consider like big-time inflation since 2019. Even for children's movie tickets, they've gone up about 30%, like we've said. So I think the films are very comparable. But one of the things that really put Super Mario Brothers out in front is its much smaller budget. That budget for Super Mario Brothers is $100 million, $50 million less than Frozen 2, and a little bit more than Minions: Rise of Gru. But as it stands right now, if Universal and Illumination, in partnership with Nintendo, spent about $100 million to make the Mario movie, and then spent probably another $150 million marketing this thing, especially after it got going and they saw what they had on their hands, distributors tend to want to re-kick advertising once they see positive audience reaction to a film. They want to continue that drive to theaters, and it's worked in their favor. If they spent as much as $250 million in total on Mario between production and marketing, which I think is a reasonable assessment at this point, then that means right now they've basically doubled their money. With $250 million in costs, $1 billion in theatrical retail revenue, about $500 million of that, or 50%, is what's making it back to Universal as the distributor at this point. That's twice as much as they spent at this time between them and Nintendo to make this film. That's a hell of a hit. And of course, that doesn't even include all of the post-theatrical revenue that it's going to enjoy in premium video on demand, or PVOD, sales and rentals, and then of course physical media sales, and not to mention probably a good life on Peacock and on Netflix, where all the animated features from Illumination and from DreamWorks go after they spend the first 4 months of the Pay 1 on Peacock. And don't even get me started on the merchandise sales this thing is assuredly generating. Hopefully at this point, Nintendo has no doubt anymore that they have a powerhouse set of IP that can translate very well into theatrical releases, and I hope they continue to do it. If the rumors are true that currently The Legend of Zelda is a film that's in development next up for the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, then that's going to be a big hit with audiences as well, and I can't wait to see it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Have you seen Mario? Well, who hasn't seen Mario at this point? How many times have you seen Mario at this point? Good to see everybody out there. Hope to see you this afternoon on the live show, and until then, take care.